Hello, welcome to Yeti Set Cook. Today we're going to do a really quick smoked chicken. Well, we're going to start off by filling up a pot to have about 2.5 quarts of water. We are going to add 3 cloves of garlic, 1 sliced lemon, a handful of herbs, and these are thyme, rosemary, and sage with a little handful of curry. We're going to add a little splash of honey, some peppercorns, and a half cup of kosher salt. Start by crushing and peeling the 3 cloves of garlic with the flat side of a knife in your palm. Now let's add all of that to a pot over medium heat and stir occasionally just until all of the salt is dissolved in the water and it becomes clear. And this is going to be enough brine for about 2 or 3 pounds of chicken. We're using a mixture of chicken breasts and chicken thighs today. Now let's move the brine into a separate container, and we want to make sure it's not too hot. Here, mine is a little bit too hot to add the chicken immediately. You want it to be closer to room temperature, but it can still be a little on the warm side. Just cool enough that the chicken doesn't start cooking while it's sitting in the brine. Once your brine has cooled, you can start washing your chicken and adding it to the brine. And you want to mix the brine together so anything that's settled on the bottom gets remixed in well. And you want to leave your chicken in your brine for about 2 hours. That's what I did here. Although if you want even more flavor and you're not going to use a sauce at the end, you can definitely leave this in the brine for 8 to 24 hours in the fridge and it'll taste amazing at the end. And while that is soaking, we're going to start making our dry rub. First, we're going to add a finely chopped mixture of the same herbs we used before. And to that, we're going to add a mixture of paprika, cumin, and cayenne powder, along with a nice healthy crack of freshly ground pepper, which, if you don't cook with freshly ground pepper, go out and get yourself a pepper mill. It makes everything taste so much better, and your mind will just be blown about how good it is. Also, we're going to toss in about 2 or 3 good sized pinches of kosher salt to this mixture. And we're going to stir that all together. We're also going to add a dash of garlic powder and onion powder to give a nice base to this dry rub. We are going to remove the chicken from the brine, trying to get off as much liquid as we can. And don't be like me and let it just run out the end onto the floor. Pat dry and pour out any excess water that's starting into the bowl. And now we can start adding our dry rub. I'm going to add half of it now, mix that around a little bit, and add the other half to make sure everything gets nice and evenly coated. Brining this chicken first is going to give us a more moist chicken at the end, and it's also going to help tenderize that chicken. So the finished product is going to come out as some of the juiciest, tastiest chicken breasts you've ever had. And also, adding all the seasoning to the brine, also from the dry rub, we're going to get a nice spice from the paprika, cumin, and cayenne, which I've been loving watching with this spice trio. And we're going to get nice herbal undertones from the thyme and rosemary and sage, that this chicken is really going to come out being some of the tastiest and juiciest chicken you've ever eaten. Now our chicken is ready for the smoker. So we're going to preheat it to 250, which is a little bit higher than the 225 you normally see. And we're going to smoke this with a fruity, lighter wood. Here I'm going to be using apple. Also, don't forget to stick your thermometer into the thickest part of the meat, and we're aiming for a temperature of 165. Here we're cooking chicken breasts and chicken thighs together. Well, we don't have to worry about overcooking the thighs. Even though they're smaller, they're a much darker, fattier piece of meat, and they'll come out just as juicy, just as tasty as the chicken breasts will. Once this chicken hits 165, we're going to paint it with your favorite barbecue sauce. Here I'm using a store-bought barbecue sauce, but if you want, you could make your own or do what I did. Really convenient. You don't have to go all out for everything, so just make it how you like it, how you want it. But once you paint these, leave them in for about 10 more minutes and they'll come out right ready to eat. This is the juiciest, most flavorful chicken I've ever eaten. Go give it a try. It's great. Thanks for watching, and if you have any constructive criticism, please leave it as a comment below so I can continue learning and growing this channel.